Namaskaram. In Mahabharata, we are on that game of dice, which is a very crucial stage in the whole story, a great turning point. And we said that Shaguni was cheating, but Yudhishthira was not able to catch him. Shaguni was too clever to hide. And with every throw of dice, Yudhishthira lost one by one all his riches, his palace, his army, his chariots, everything. Then finally, on Shaguni's prompt, he staked his brothers one by one, starting with Sahadeva, then to Nakula, then Arjuna and Bhima. And finally, he staked himself, lost the throw, and declared that he with his brothers are slaves to Duryodhana. And then Shakuni asked, "Is that all what you have? But you have your dear wife. What is it called? Is she not of some value to you?" And Yudhishthira fell for that Shakuni's trick and staked Draupadi. Shaguni played, maneuvering the dice, and he declared himself the winner. And with that, the game was over, because every possession of Yudhishthira, material or otherwise, was lost to Shaguni and hence to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana immediately asked Pratikami, who was one of their dependents, to get Draupadi into the hall. And Pratikami went and told Draupadi that Duryodhana is asking you to go to the hall. And he explained that Yudhishthira lost everything, including Draupadi, in the game. And then Draupadi thought for a minute and asked, did Yudhishthira stake himself first and lose, and then stake Draupadi, or it was the other way around? Pratikami said, "No, I don't remember. I don't know exactly." "Then please go to the assembly and ask that question." And Pratikami did as was told, and nobody answered, because this is a very tricky situation. Draupadi asked it purposefully. If Yudhishthira staked himself and lost, then what right he had to stake Draupadi? Because he became already a slave to the Duryodhanas. And if he did the other way around, as the husband, how could he do that? How could he stake his wife? There are other issues also. That is why the Pandavas didn't reply anything. And Bhima, out of desperation, he was angry. He wrung his hands, but he kept quiet. And what is it called? Duryodhana said, "Ask Draupadi to come herself and ask the question herself to the hall, assembly hall." And Pratikami went again, and Draupadi refused to do. She said, "I should get that reply, otherwise I wouldn't come." And when Pratikami came back second time, Duryodhana asked Dushasana, "Go and get Draupadi." Dushasana went, and then Dushasana was in the worst of his highness moods. He said he behaved very rudely. He behaved as though he was talking to the maid servant. Come, now you are a slave to us. Take the broom and come to the assembly hall and sweep there. And Draupadi was, of course, shocked, but she still, took courage and said, no, I will not until I get the answer. Then Dushasana caught hold of Draupadi on her hair and dragged her physically. That was dragging her all the way to the assembly. And Draupadi was crying, look, I am wearing only a single cloth and I am in my period. I can't come to the hall in such a situation. But Dushasana said, it doesn't matter to you. You are a slave. Whether you are coming with single cloth or naked, it doesn't make a difference. The cloth you are wearing, that itself belongs to us. And he dragged her all the way to the hall. And it was a shock, not only to the Pandavas, but even to the entire assembly hall. Everyone there was hanging their heads in shame. Nobody, what is it called? Appeal to Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Dhritarashtra, to everybody, and saying, look, I am the queen of the family, and I have never been to this hall before. A Kshatriya woman doesn't appear in the public, and none of you would have seen me, except my husbands, would have seen me except at the time of the marriage, where I came for choosing the husband. But nobody was willing to open their mouth, because then they all knew what Duryodhana's mood was, and he was powerful and merciless. And by then, bad omens were visible, and Vidura, even before this, even when Dharmaputra started staking one by one, Vidura was appealing to Dhritarashtra, king, I had warned you at the time of Duryodhana's birth. Looking at the bad omens at that time, everyone was scared, and they all were of the opinion, like me, that this child must be abandoned right away. Otherwise, the whole family, the whole nation will perish. But you didn't listen to me because you loved your baby too much. And Vidura quoted the famous saying. In Sanskrit, it is Tyajet Kulartham Purusham. That is, you may have to sacrifice one man for the sake of the family. Gramasyarthe kulam tejel. If the family is itself stained with bad name, then you must abandon the family itself for the sake of the village. Otherwise, the name of the village will be spoiled. People will say, oh, that village, oh, that's where that rotten family is. So you may have to throw the family out. Gramam Janapadasyarthe. You may have to abandon the whole village for the sake of the nation. And Atmartham Prithivim Tejel. But if your life is at stake, then maybe you have to abandon the whole world. He quoted this, stressing that at this point, that means when Duryodhana was born, you throw this child out, then you save the family, the village, and the whole nation. But Dhritarashtra didn't listen to him. And so the moves by the treacherous moves with the sleight of hand, Shaguni threw the dice, and one by one won everything Yudhishthira possessed, and hence it resulted in the very unfortunate situation where Draupadi, the daughter of Drupada, whom all the kings wanted for themselves, and she was the dear wife all these valorous Pandavas, but unfortunately they all became slaves. They could do nothing. She was also the, what is it called, the favorite, like a sister to Krishna. We will come to that soon. And Duryodhana in the hall, in front of everybody, caught hold of Draupadi's clothes and started pulling it. And Draupadi was crying, appealing to everybody elder, but nobody made a move or said anything. And she was crying and telling Dushasana, reminding him, look, I'm in my period, I'm wearing only this cloth. Please don't put me to shame in front of all these people. But Dushasana didn't listen, and he was pulling the clothes. And Draupadi, with no one else to her aid, she started praying to Krishna, Krishna, you are my only savior. Please come to my aid. Why are you not coming? It is said that Krishna heard the prayer. Krishna came rushing and was there without anyone seeing, and it said that Krishna, Dushasana, as he removed the cloth, Draupadi had a different cloth on her. When that was removed, she again had one, and finally there was a big heap of clothes, and still she had a cloth on her. And Dushasana got tired and stopped. So Krishna saved Draupadi from that situation through his presence and through his magic power. We will continue next day. Namaskaram.